Hi everyone, this is Brian Hayes and welcome to a discussion on how to play fluently in all keys on the saxophone. Today I'm going to focus just on two keys and I'm going to use the E-flat alto saxophone as an example. However, this concept applies right across the full family of saxophones: alto, soprano, tenor and baritone. All of the common saxophones played these days are what is known as transposing instruments. Now that simply means that when we play a note C on the alto sax, for example, the rest of the world hears that note as E flat. If we play C on a soprano or tenor saxophone, concert pitch instruments have to play the note B flat to match our C. So what does this mean in a practical sense? Well, technically on the saxophone, what it means is that wherever you're at the moment in your practice, whether you're an absolute beginner or a seasoned musician but struggling to play fluently in all keys, what you need to do is start with a basic scale. If I play a C major scale through one octave here on the alto sax, remembering this is in alto sax pitch key, it really will be an E flat concert scale, major scale, but we're going to refer to it as a C major scale. They will be the notes C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. Now for most saxophone players, that's where you start. You start on a C major scale and you start playing melodies, simple little melodies. Nursery rhymes, Christmas carols. Famous tunes. Now, most of us get pretty good reasonably quickly at playing a C major scale, basic tunes in the key of C, and even basic chord structures in the key of C. So a C major chord, a C minor chord, C seventh. The challenge is that very few other instruments other than the alto sax and the baritone sax are pitched in E-flat concert. Now, most of the world's tunes are composed from a piano or a guitar bass as the genesis of the melodies and the song composition. That's just a fact. We can only play one note at a time on any of the wind instruments. Therefore, if you're a songwriter or an arranger, a composer, you're going to base your compositions largely from chordal instruments. Now, in the popular music world, an incredible percentage of songs are composed from the guitar. And I just want to grab my guitar now and show you and just talk through one of the reasons why you will seldom play in the key of C major on the E-flat alto saxophone or baritone saxophone if you're playing a composition that has come from a guitar basis. The guitar is a concert pitch instrument. That simply means that if I play the note E on the guitar, you'll note the tuner reported that note as being an E, exactly the same note that I expected it to be. Now, if you do that same process with your alto sax, put a tuner on and play the note C on your alto sax, you'll find that the tuner will report that pitch as being D sharp or E flat. And that's why we call the alto sax an E-flat alto saxophone. Now, the standard guitar tuning across the 6 strings covers 2 full octaves. The lowest note on the guitar is E, which is written just below the treble clef stave, and the highest note on the open strings is E, the 4th space in the treble clef stave. So we've got 2 full octaves across the open strings of the guitar. And this means that the key of E major or E minor, but we'll talk in major keys at the moment. E major is a really common key that guitar players love to play, and it gives the guitar a chance for a very big, fat, full, powerful sound, like this. So throughout that chord progression, I deliberately let the two outside strings, the 2-octave leap between low E and 4th space E, ring on throughout all those chords, and it allowed some big, spacious, beautiful sounding chords. Now, if I dropped that chord progression back a semitone so that I could play along with an alto sax player who's playing in the key of C for them, the guitar becomes literally the most boring, tubby sounding instrument you've ever heard, like this. You've got no open strings. In the key of E flat, none of the chords will let you have an open string, and therefore the guitar's forced to play closed chords. So hopping back to the alto saxophone, what does all of this mean for us as saxophone players? Well, what it means is we have to get equally as good at playing in the key of C sharp major in this example today as in the key of C. We need to be able to play in every key fluently. But we've just looked at the guitar and the reason why E major is an incredibly popular key for guitar players, both as players of the guitar and as songwriters basing their compositions from a guitarist's background. So if we go back to the start of the tutorial where we talked about being able to play a C major scale, what this means is you need to put in the time and practice until you can just pick up your saxophone and play a C sharp major scale with the same ease as a C scale. And the same with your chords. C major, C minor, C seventh. Take all of those chords up a semitone into the key of C sharp. Practice simple tunes. Practice your nursery rhymes, your Christmas carols, your famous ballads and big power melodies in the key of C sharp. So Mary Had a Little Lamb in C becomes this in C sharp. Somewhere Over the Rainbow in C becomes this in C sharp. And so on. The thing I want to leave you with today is that some of the world's best music is played in some of the hardest keys for us as saxophone players. Our answer to that challenge is to practice our horn in every key regularly so that no key feels harder than another. Now, when we're leading our own group and we've got the choice of which songs we want to play in whatever keys, by all means play in the easiest possible key that you find to express yourself on your saxophone. But don't be scared of keys that have 7 sharps in them and 5 flats. They're all just series of fingerings on the saxophone. Now, I've put several tutorials on YouTube already that take you through all of the fingerings on the saxophone and through the cycle of fifths in the major keys, and check those out if you're confused as to what are the notes in the key of C sharp major. Now, to close this tutorial today, I'm going to play a clip of me playing an original blues on my Gibson ES345 electric guitar. I'm playing that blues in the key of E major. If you have a close look at my guitar work, you'll see the outside strings getting a fair whack throughout, And E is a great key to play the blues on the guitar. Now in the background on this clip you'll hear a lot of baritone saxophone work. I'm playing all of the baritone sax parts, including the solo in the middle of the blues that I play on the E-flat baritone sax. So throughout this entire tune, all of the sax playing you hear in the background and in the solo is played in the key of C sharp major, 7 sharps on the E-flat baritone sax. It's a classic example of needing to be fluent on the saxophone in all of the keys, because me as a guitarist, and the guitar is the feature on this clip, I'm always going to play it in a key that sounds best on the guitar. I hope you've learnt something from this. Maybe it's opened up your mind and your ears a little bit to the reasons why it is important to learn to play the saxophone in keys beyond C major, G major, F major, D major, the easy keys on the saxophone. Have fun with it, enjoy it, check out my other tutorials and start your journey on becoming fluent playing in any key on your saxophone. Bye for now.